morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad you're here, and we want you to know that your soul is welcome here.
Yes, you're in the right place at the right time, just where you are meant to be. Are you ready to sing about it? Oh, yeah. Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcomed here. Oh my soul is welcomed here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Everybody turn around, say good morning to those that are live streaming. You're in the right place. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcomed here. Oh my soul is welcomed here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh my soul is welcome. Oh my soul is welcomed here. Oh my soul is welcomed here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting a message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome. Everybody's welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Oh, oh. My soul is welcome. No matter what color, what culture, sexual orientation, political or religious affiliation, my soul is ready in peace. Everybody's welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh yeah.
Woo! I had to do a little jazz hands
Yeah,
there.
little jazz hands. That was.
Oh, good morning, Reverend Louise.
Good morning, Reverend Becca.
And good morning to all of you.
It's a sparkly kind of
I
day.
know, I love it. And as always, we greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is sparkly, and in the warm and loving energy of this community, Spiritual Life Center. And if this is your first time with us today, either watching us on live stream or in our sanctuary, we especially want to welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident, but by divine appointment. And we are so grateful that you kept your appointment with us today. And we will be equally grateful if you silence your cell phones during the service.
And now, as we always do, let's start with a prayer. And we're in this beautiful, cool sanctuary. So let's take a deep breath of gratitude for this air conditioning that functions really well. So on this July morning, we sit together with all of our brothers and sisters in our human experience. And anywhere there's a need for warmth or cool, we see that being delivered by divine appointment. And we also this week want to really hold our beloved pets in prayer, for they had an experience of an epic proportion this year. So we see them returning home safely. We see them calming into the beautiful beings that they all are. And as we see this healing, we also experience our own on this beautiful Sunday where we reach out and we really do touch everyone. And it is so.
Who's our special guest today?
we do have a special guest. And, you know, a lot of you are going to know who he is, and some of you may not. So I'm going to tell you a few words, because today we have our brother, our friend, our former minister of chaplains, Reverend Dave Lyman. And don't spit your tongue out at me. I have the microphone. All right. So just in case you don't know about Dave, I'm going to tell you a few tidbits. You may not know these things. Dave used to be a tennis professional. He had a hypnotherapy practice in Midtown. He was a partner in a construction company for 25 years. He was instrumental in the purchase of this building and all of its amazing renovations. He ran our prayer chaplain program for 8 years. And he retired in 2015 after a wonderfully successful interfaith connection. And by the way, that interfaith connection was the widest attended interfaith program in the United States.
Can I also insert that program was co-run by my wife, Rachel Lyman?
Yes. We call her Venerable Rachel. So now Dave spends his time building bridges of interfaith connection at other Unity and Science of Mind communities. And give Dave a warm welcome at Spiritual Life Center.
So have you all noticed our new revised lighter Sunday bulletins? Yes, we are saving 200 sheets of paper every Sunday by creating these. So yay for going green at SLC.
Tina Bakley is the brainchild behind that transformation, so we want to thank her.
Absolutely.
And this week for our Wow Wednesday program, it's all about universal compassion. We're welcoming a very special guest, Venerable Geshe Pelgay, and he's going to speak to us after we have salad at 6. So he'll speak at 7. And each week after the WOW program, you know that our prayer chaplains hold a healing circle in the annex, which is down the hallway next door, and they love to help smooth your aura. So stop in every Wednesday evening. We do. We have chaplains that are going to tell us a few words about the recruiting season. It's starting to happen.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Jeanette Valm, and I've been a chaplain here in this community. I think I'm on my 6th year already. And it's great to have Dave here because he really mentored me through my early years in a wonderful way. I was brought up Catholic, and I knew how to say Hail Marys and Our Fathers like nobody's business. But and that is an important part of prayer. It gets you into, especially if you're doing a rosary where you're repeating, and it gets you into a flow of that type of prayer. But the prayer we do here as prayer chaplains takes a different form. And I had never done praying out loud before with people, and that was a new step for me. And I found it incredibly fulfilling in that the strangest things would happen. Someone would approach me and say, I need to pray about blah, blah, blah. And guess what? Blah, blah, blah was sort of happening in my life at the same time. And it's amazing how often some of those things happen, that, coincidences. And so by being a prayer chaplain, I not only serve you out there, but I also serve myself, because every time I say a prayer, I get some kind of prayerful state going on within me. And, each year I think, well, am I going to sign up again? And the answer is just yes. Why would I not do this? And the commitment is basically, 2 services a month that you are available for prayer to this community, or maybe on a Wednesday in our prayer circle, healing circle next door. And then we have a monthly gosh, I know no way we're calling it these days, a monthly meeting that usually happens the fourth Monday of the month, where it's kind of a training meeting where we do various things. And then we also have our wellness calls that we do once a month, and we each have a list of, I don't know what the list, maybe 10 to 12 people on our list. And so it's just a really great way to connect. And anyway, if any of you are out there thinking, wow, I think that might be for me, come talk to me, or Kathleen is here and Jane is here. And, if you can catch Reverend Dave on the side, he'd probably be able to tell you good things about being a prayer chaplain. So anyway, yes, give it some contemplation. Thank you.
So I think, Becca, you have a few words to tell us.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm going to step away from the podium and the announcement team here and become a special guest testimonial deliverer over here. Very exciting. Okay. So a few months ago, our SLC board member and my friend, Celia Coughlin-Surridge, sent me an email out of the blue that read, "Hi, Becca. Writing to tell you, you are a badass," with 4 exclamation points. By the way, have you read the book? And I am a very worldly and knowledgeable individual, so I, of course, replied back, super cool, "Hey, what book are we talking about?" And the book, of course, was Jen Sincero's best-selling You Are a Badass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. And I don't know about you all, but I have read a lot of self-help books in my day, and I felt like there was going to be nothing new in this book that was going to help me at all, but Celia was just so darn excited about it that I ended up promising to read it, just to be polite. And so no one is more surprised than me that I am standing up here 2 months after I finished the book to tell you that You Are a Badass changed my life. And it's not that Jen Sincero has come up with some brand new self-help formula. She's very open about her influences, and there are people like Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, Wallace Wattles, Esther Hicks. But she has this blend of motivation that is humor, affection, spirituality, and just zero tolerance for excuses. And reading this book inspired me to get serious about my work as a writer. I already had a blog that I posted to, sporadically when I wasn't too busy looking at Facebook. But applying the principles in this book, I committed to a regular writing schedule and a daily meditation practice. And I hired a professional photographer to replace my blurry cell phone pictures on my website. I doubled my site's number of social media followers, and I've published 9 essays, all of that in 2 months. So, what I want to say to you is that if I could get that motivated from one email from Celia and reading the book all by myself, how amazing is it going to be to take Badassery 101 here at Spiritual Life Center for 4 weeks with Reverend James and Celia coaching and an entire room full of motivated, dedicated people supporting each other. The teachings in the book work for any goal that you might have in mind: health, finance, relationships, starting a creative project, or launching a business. And Celia has also created a private online Badassery 101 group for everyone who registers to support each other and connect. There's also original guided meditations, worksheets, and fun exercises that Celia and James have created that are guaranteed to bring out the badass in all of us. So the group starts Thursday, July 20th, and I really encourage you to sign up in the courtyard or online at slcworld.org, and then come sit next to me, because I'm honestly a little nervous about the levels of badassery that we are going to achieve, but I really think that we at SLC are ready for it, so I'll see you there.
And James has been a little sassier lately. So
It's true.
Stay tuned, because I think he's really resonating with this as well. So our upcoming program, the Mystic Cafe, Guys with Guitars, there are less than 20 seats available. So if you want to come, you know we always sell out, and we always have people saying, I didn't get my ticket. Can I get one at the door? This year, it's going to be a no. You can't get your ticket at the door, but you can get it today. And my guess is there are less than 20 seats available. So go do that. And we really want to thank Robin DeLong, our sponsor of the Mystic Cafe. Thank you, Robin.
So have you all said your affirmations today, or have you stopped saying them because they're not working for you? Now, if that's the case, it happens sometimes that if you have a deep-seated belief that contradicts the affirmations that you're saying, the belief will win out every time. But luckily, we have Reverend Deborah Phillips to guide us through a thought-belief alignment workshop where you will learn a 7-step process to help you identify and release your limiting beliefs and then replace them with new ones that align with your personal goal. So she's going to be offering that workshop on Saturday, July 29th, and registration is open in the courtyard or online.
And you can probably talk to her after service and ask her if you have any questions. She's sitting right there.
And we're also really excited that we're going to have Life Touch photographers here in the sanctuary between noon and 8 on Friday, August 4th, and 10 to 5. Oh boy. So, Dave, you can get that new picture on Friday, August 4th, or Saturday, August 5th. What we're doing is we're taking photos for Friends of Spiritual Life Center 20-year anniversary church directory that we're putting out. And so everyone in our community is welcome to participate. You don't have to be an official member. And every family or individual who comes and does a photo shoot here is going to get a free copy of the church directory and a complimentary 8x10 portrait of the picture that they take. And that's a thank you for helping us to preserve our history, highlight our ministry, and connect our names and faces. So book your appointments online. You can do it in the courtyard at the Life Touch table, or you can do it online at slcworld.org. You'll see there's a big purple square right on the front page. It's really easy. So we encourage you to sign up and be a part of that.
Becca?
Yes.
Can people bring their pets?
Yes, you can bring your pets for a photo sitting. And I'm really hoping that you do, because that's going to be awesome.
Can you come in as a group and like have a group photo done?
Yeah, if you want to get your ministries together or your friends or, however you want to organize it, there's room.
Becca?
Yes.
Can people highlight their businesses in the directory?
You can. There's going to be ad space in the back, or, if you can work what you do somehow into your portrait.
I think that's a valuable tool. How many times people call us here at the office and want a recommendation for someone at SLC that is either an attorney, a doctor, a handyman, a plumber, a realtor, you name it. So, a musician. You get what we're saying. It's a good thing. And I want to tell you about another good thing. So Spiritual Life Center, in conjunction with YOLO Hospice, is offering a wonderful evening on August 17th with a beautiful film. It's a PBS documentary. It is Being Mortal with Dr. Atul Gawande. And he is a great soul. And he walks you through his experience. Now, he's a medical doctor, and he walks you through his experience with his father's illness and what it was like to hear what the doctors were saying and realize that they don't always know everything, and they don't always know how to tell us the deepest truth. So it's a great opening conversation if you have loved ones that you're walking through a medical challenge with. Let's face it, we're all kind of in that demographic where we have people anyone in any demographic. We have people that come into our lives and people that go out of our lives. So it's a great way to connect in community and really deepen our vocabulary, our comfort level in having these very vital connecting conversations. And Dave's talk today is going to remind you of how important it is to deeply connect. So join us for that. And then we also have this great program coming up in August. It's called Heart of the Vision Quest. And it's a mini retreat with J.D. Martin and Jan Garrett. They're two great musicians, beautiful souls. And it's Saturday, August 26th. It's a wholehearted soul retrieval. Now, that was not easy to say. but it's going to be easier to have the experience. It's going to be through centering, mirroring, a medicine wheel teaching, creating sacred space, and practicing the visioning process itself through time-honored traditions and music, beautiful music woven throughout. So don't miss that.
And will our ambassadors and prayer chaplains please stand? Our ambassadors are wearing the rainbow ribbons, and they are here to give you a warm welcome and help you connect with activities and programs that we have here. And our prayer chaplains are wearing the white stoles, and they are here to pray with you in times of joy and challenges. And they are out in the courtyard after services, and we encourage you to pray with them.
And if you're here for the first time, in just a minute, we're going to ask you to raise your hand. But we want to tell you something important first, so you're hearing us. That welcome card that you're going to be handed is a great way to get connected. So fill it out, drop it in the offering basket, or take it to the welcome table, where it's a great way to get connected and sign up also for our weekly inspirational video.
Yes, and we also have a shell lay for you, and we ask that you wear this so we can greet you. And on the shell lay is a tag that says, "We believe we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and there are many paths to the one God." So if you're here for the first time today, please raise your hand and keep it up so our ushers can see you.
And also be sure to take that welcome table to take that welcome card to the welcome table, because they have a couple of really awesome gifts for you this morning.
And we are so grateful to everyone who joined us today, and we would like to all just stand and greet our newcomers and greet each other.
Invite you to stay standing as we get into our group song. I feel the Spirit moving in me. Oh, yeah. Ooh, I feel the Spirit. Together. I feel the Spirit moving in me. The Spirit moving in me. Yes, I do. I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me. And I feel the love. I feel the love moving in me. I feel the love moving in me. Can you feel the love? I feel the love moving in me. I feel the love moving in me. And I feel the joy. I feel the joy moving in me. Yes, it is. I feel the joy moving in me. Yes, I feel the joy. I feel the joy moving in me. I feel the joy moving in me, and I feel the passion. I feel the passion moving in me. I feel the passion moving in me. Yes, I do. I feel the passion moving. It's moving in me. I feel the passion moving in me, and I feel the vision. I feel the vision moving in me. Yes, I do. I feel the vision moving in me. I feel the vision pleasure moving in me. And I feel the peace, I feel the peace moving in me. I feel the peace moving in me. Yes, I do. I feel the peace moving in me. It's moving in me. I feel the peace moving in me. And I feel the Spirit. I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me. It's moving. It's moving. I feel the Spirit moving in me. And I feel the Spirit moving in me. Please be seated.
I feel the Spirit. Let's feel the Spirit together as we read our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and expects everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet.
And now, in preparation for meditation, I invite you to take a nice deep breath and settle into your chair. Let freedom ring in my soul. Let freedom ring together.
Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring in my soul. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring in my soul. Let freedom ring. I am free. I am free to be a voice. I am free to make a choice. I am free here to be just who I am. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring in my soul. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring in my soul. Let freedom ring. I am free. I am free to be a voice. I am free. I am free to make a choice. I am free here to be just who I am. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring in my soul. Let freedom ring.
As we move into this time of meditation, breathe naturally. Settle into your seat. Drop your shoulders. Relax your hands into your lap. Allow this soft music to pull you inward into your spiritual heart center, that area within that is never, ever touched by the busyness of this world. As you take a breath to go deeper now, become aware of an inner landscape. It is your favorite setting. It's a place where you feel quiet, calm, safe. So imagine now an alabaster altar. A soft light emanates. A simple golden ball sits in the center of the altar. Sunlight plays off the edges of the bowl. It is as if it is calling you. As you approach the altar, you can see that the bowl is filled with pure, clear water. And you realize that this is an opportunity to wash away yet another level of concern or care. With this in mind, gently dip your hands into the water. It is cool and soothing, and as you lift your hands into the sunlight, your heart feels just a little lighter. But there is still a sense of heaviness, something not quite gone. So dip your hands in the water a second time. Allow the water to flow and dribble between your fingers as you lift your hands to the sun to dry. Your heart feels a little bit lighter again. And you may even feel a slight movement or ringing in your heart. For a third time, dip your hands into the healing water and cup it in your hands and lift it as an offering to the holy sunlight. Allow the water to drip down your hands and arms, off your elbows, back into the bowl. And now you feel remarkably light and free. Your heart feels clear and open. Bring your hands to your heart center and listen to your heart ring with joy with this newfound freedom. As the ringing subsides, take a moment to sit in gratitude and wonder for release and healing in the silence. A voice softly says, "Oh, my beloved, you are a holy bell. Your soul rings with light, love, and peace. Remember this always." And you still hear the bell, and you follow the bell back into your heart center. take a nice deep breath. And as you awaken to this room, let us say together, thank you, God, 3 times. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Everything is sacred. Everything is filled with the divine. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a wonder, unfolding right before our eyes. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a blessing, bursting from the air and sky. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everyone is sacred. Everyone is filled with the divine. Everyone is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is sacred. Everything is filled with the divine. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a wonder, unfolding right before our eyes. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a blessing, bursting from the earth and sky. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is sacred. Everyone is filled with the divine.
applause for those professional musicians and what they do. Being a musician, I get to sit up here and see all the things they do in the background that we really don't hear that make that rich sound. And to think that they only practice once a week when they do this and put this kind of music out. It's spectacular. It is so good to be home, to my home church. We have been traveling a lot this year. And I did want to, since this is a talk about connection and the fact we're never alone, I did want to mention my support group. I am the luckiest man in the world because back on December 15, 2005, I got an email that said, I don't know if you're in a relationship, if you're dating anyone, but I have a place that I'm going that I need a date. Would you like to go out? And I am blessed every day of my life to be supported by my wife who is here with me today. My other support is a little more esoteric. This is Chubbles. She travels with us everywhere. We are of the belief TSA is gentler with us because she travels with us. If you could put Chubbles out there because she likes to see me from below. We just got back from Hawaii. And we want to thank SLC because we bought one ticket a year and a half ago on the SLC Gala and won the trip to Hawaii. The interesting part about the story is I was doing music up at a church up in Auburn, and then we were going to musical theater in Davis. And as we were driving to the musical theater, Rachel said, they're probably going to call us and tell us we won the trip. And I told her, well, I didn't put my phone number down, I put yours. And at that very moment, the phone rang. She picked up the phone and she looked at me and went, it's the senior minister. And they told us we'd won. So this is that circle. You sent me to Hawaii. I'm coming back and talking about a thing called Talk Story. We met a wonderful Hawaiian man named Kima. His ancestors were back many, many, many generations. And in Hawaii, you talk story. He said to us one day, I'll come over, we'll talk story. And I went, well, what does that mean? He said, well, we'll just talk. It's kind of like shooting the breeze back and forth. And I thought about how perfect that was, because Reverend James started talking about the guidelines of spiritual liberation last week, the freedom that we can work with. And next week, he's going to talk about the subconscious and the internal changes we can make. Today, I want to talk about the bridge in between the two. It's that personal liberation of talk story. When he told us about talk story, I remembered reading in Africa when people in Africa talk, and it's heart talk, they call it deep talk. I realized a few connections about this. In the Course in Miracles, it has been said that people get spiritual growth through their connections with other people. In fact, personal relationship with a wife or whatever that may be in relationship is like spiritual growth on steroids. So that when Rachel and I first got together years ago, we talked about everything. And she said, you're so kind, you won't ever hurt me. I stopped her for a moment and said, no, wait a minute, hon. The Course in Miracles talks about the fact that at one point in time, you were in the heavenly waiting room when over the spiritual announcement board came this announcement. Is there someone in here that would be willing to go to earth to be salvation for Dave Lyman? I was blessed because I can just imagine her jumping up and going, pick me, I'll go. And she came down to this earth to be my salvation, to point out to me the places I'm still filled with human through reflection and through relationship. She drives me crazy. And I have such great spiritual growth from it. In the same way, I was in a spiritual waiting room, and I volunteered the same way. So I drive her crazy. In the end, we realized that the only thing we could really agree on is that we would not hurt each other knowingly. We could agree on the fact that we are two different people, and in the course of daily life, we would offend and hurt each other. Knowing how that works with relationship, it means that as we go through life, if we want to quicken who we are, we do that through other people. We can do all the changes and everything. We can go and do affirmative prayer and all. But then the rubber hits the road. Then that very person who has that particular talent to point out that particular issue for you shows up. Deep talk and talk story are part of that process. It's sharing with communication with each other to open to that place. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and all our conversations should be in that ratio. Not that we always do. A senior minister from SLC, who is Irish, said at one point in time, without communication, there is only imagination, and that will get us in trouble every time. I believe when we talk story, we are truly holding sacred space. We are seeing the person across from us. We are opening to the spiritual aspect of our journey. It is that part of us that has God expressing as us, looking at that part of the person across from us, seeing God expressing as them in that particular moment. I used to think it was this kind of a conversation, then adding this, but it's not true. It's adding God right where we're at by authentically seeing the other person, to see that divine. Someone called it the radiance of life. I believe the talk story in Hawaii and deep talking in Africa are not just sharing conversations. They're soul talk. They're soul talk. I always hate drinking water in the midst of a talk. In the first service, I said I'd rather it be gin, but I want to retract that. I'd rather it be vodka. And a really good brand. So if I sip a lot, we'll see where the talk goes. When we're in the midst of connection with someone and we are deep talking, we're starting to move toward a form of prayer. It's not formal prayer, but it's conversation, seeing that God. Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Buddhist monk that works with mindfulness, has said, when you touch someone who authentically represents a tradition, you not only touch his or her tradition, you touch your own. You touch your own. So my ancestors are a part of that spiritual legacy. I came to the planet with my birth family, and they say we come with that birth family to learn lessons, and then we make our own family. And the truth of it is, our birth family DNA is a part of who we are. And our growth is working not to back that family away from us, but to embrace and see the gifts that we bring. Gene Houston, who runs a mystery school in Santa Rosa, of all places, has said that we are the result of all our ancestors. We can sit here and go back generation by generation by generation to perhaps a milkmaid in the 5th century. And all of those generations, we represent the culmination of that. My aunts are involved with genealogy. And they took one part of our family back to the year 900 on the Isle of Shetland. And then they took my grandmother there, and they had a video of her actually meeting someone who was one of her relatives. That's generation after generation. And because all of that generation has brought us to this very point, we are also the best of all that. We are the accomplishment of all that. All those that have come before us have brought us to this place. And because of that, in the end, we are the ones we've been waiting for. In Hawaii, this is a part of Talking Story, of Talk Story. And I mentioned that it was family and friends, but we were at a Sunday breakfast, and there's this beautiful bay right across from the restaurant, and there's guardrails all around it. It's right on the main street. And when we got there, everybody was jumping off the guardrails into the water, and every 3 feet there was a sign that says, "Do not jump off guardrails." When we came out, the Hawaiian man we were with was talking in deep conversation with a man in the water. We got ready to leave, and Rachel said, "Well, is that one of your cousins?" Because he knew everybody. He said, "Oh, no, brother, I just met him." But they were deep talking. It was as if they'd known each other forever. This is the truth we forget. The joy of this kind of talk, of deep talk, is that God shows up. When we authentically see someone, stop and think of the conversations you've had that have stepped into that. And suddenly, even if you're in a crowd, it's just you and the other person talking. In depth, connecting. All of us long for this kind of talking. All of us. There's a movie called Don Juan de Marco, in which Marlon Brando plays a psychiatrist. One of his patients is Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp believes he is Don Juan, and he has a deep adoration of women. After a while, Marlon Brando's starting to wonder, is this really Don Juan? And when he realizes and starts to see how peaceful Don Juan is, he decides to end his career because he's near retirement and retire. He goes home to tell his wife this. His wife is Faye Dunaway. And there's the most amazing scene in the backyard. Faye Dunaway is sitting there, and he says, "I've decided to retire. I want to get to know you better." And she laughs at him in a way. She says, "We've been married over 30 years. You know me." And he just goes, No. I want to know what your dreams are. I want to know what your desires are. I want to know who you are. And in one of those great acting scenes, she's looking at the camera, and she's got a really neutral face, and it bursts into the biggest grin you've ever seen. And she says to him, "I thought you'd never ask." That is deep talk. It's important when you're a minister to quote the Bible. In Proverbs 4:23, it is said that the heart is a wellspring of life. And in Proverbs 20:25, it says a person of understanding draws that out from each other. Today, however, it seems like we don't do a lot of Christ-centered or Spirit-led conversations. But I wonder, because a Christ-centered, Spirit-filled conversation doesn't necessarily need to be about religion, about Christ, or about Spirit. 2 days ago, I discovered there's a craze occurring in Finland. It's called hobby horsing. Yes, a stick with a horse on it. 15,000 people in Finland are doing this. They had an event where 5,000 people got together and did the hops. This is serious. But even in that, because it's mostly teenage girls, but there are boys and there are adults doing it, even in that, there can be deep talk. There was an area where they talked to a young woman who's probably 16 or 17 who teaches hobby horsing to new girls who are coming into it. And she's talking about one of the new girls. And she said, you know, her self-confidence and self-esteem is growing as she develops her skill. That's connection. That's not about hobby horsing. That's about authentically seeing each other right in front of it. It's that time we go out into the courtyard, this has happened so often, where I'll be talking with someone, and as I said earlier, everything else goes away. And we have a heart-to-heart conversation. And it seems to always happen here more often because everybody has these wide open hearts. It's an amazing place. We share our authentic selves, and that bridge leads us to connection. Now, how do you expand that? If you have it and you want more, how do you do that? The first is active listening. My dad gave me a gift growing up, and I grew up in a tough childhood, but he did remind me when I want to talk to people that I should always talk about their favorite subjects themselves. And he said, you can say maybe just a few words, ask a question now and then, and people will go, you're the best conversationalist I've talked to today. So he gave me that gift that people are the most amazing things. How many of you have been to a memorial and you get to the end of it and you go, wow, I wish I'd known that person for a longer period of time. Each of us that have gotten to this place live a life of courage. You've had ups and downs. You've had that morning where you look out and you pull the covers back over your head and go, nah, not today. But you keep moving along. You gather in places like this to heart connect. And that act of listening connects hearts. It's Fraser saying, Seattle, I'm listening. The second part of it is focus and action, knowing that the person that you're talking to has all their answers. We have this urge to help people and not only finish their sentences for them, but give them the answers. Remember that advice is the highest form of insanity. And when you think you can give advice, you need to check yourself in someplace. People have their own answers. It's the man who walked out of his front door and there was a cocoon there. And he opened it up to help the butterfly who proceeded to die because the butterfly wasn't ready to come out. Each person has their own answers. And sometimes the most difficult part, especially being a parent, I'll get nods on this one, how often we've watched our children walk up to a cliff and we've said to them, there's a cliff there, you'll fall over it. And they fall over it. But you've got to let them take those steps. You've got to let them find their own answers. The last part of it is being liberal with prayer. It's really interesting. I've been in gatherings with lots of ministers where after debating a subject for 15 or 20 minutes, one of the ministers, oftentimes it was Christine because she is very connected, would say, hey, maybe we should pray about it. What a great idea. Here at SLC, we have a prayer chaplain program where you can pray out loud with people. In gathering together to pray with someone, if you have not prayed out loud, try it. Because it's instant, deep talk. It's instant talk story. It's connecting at an express level of allowing the presence of God in front of you. And that intention makes a difference. We actually had a prayer chaplain who started years and years ago. And after 5 or 6 years, I pulled out a picture And it was a picture of her first year, and nobody recognized who she was. Because being a prayer chaplain and praying out loud with people changes your DNA. And she had softened so much. So if you haven't prayed out loud, do so. Talk Story is much like the movie Avatar, where they look at each other, and in one scene, she puts her hand on him. He puts his hand on her face, and he says to her, I see you. There are a whole group of tribes in Africa that do that. One person will say, I see you. And the other one will say, I am here. Can you imagine starting conversations off that way? You would need to be careful as to who you were doing it with. But what a powerful way to start a conversation. People are telling me that this is a point of huge separation conflict in our world, that our world is falling apart, that indeed Monty Python was writing about the current world when they wrote their skits, because it seems so strange. But in truth, with A Course in Miracles, the way through that illusion to the presence of the One is through what appears to be separation. There is truly no separation. And Jesus didn't give us a simple task. He didn't say, make a list of your good friends and love them. He said, love your enemies. And so, in that, we talk story, we deep talk, we move to the next level. So as always, because it's what I do, I challenge you this week, as you go out into the world, to hook up with someone and let them know you see them. Because truly we do. All of us have been in that heavenly waiting room going, pick me, pick me. Thank you for the opportunity this morning to speak. I see you.
I see you. Can we talk deeply? I want you to understand something so important, that everything that you support here brings people like Dave to talk. And not only that, but it brings us all closer together. And when we become closer together, we move out in the world and we touch people more deeply. So thank you. And you do so by your time, your talent, and your treasure. And this is the time of our service where we ask you to make your love offering. And sometimes this is an uncomfortable place for people. But I want you to know that it's not just your money, but truly your time and your talent. In all three are three legs on that table that create stability for this community. And whether you can give of your time and your talent, or you can give of your treasure and not of your time and talent, we know it's all good. And it's all the same vibration of abundance. So now let's hold those love offerings. And we know you can make those in so many ways. We want to make it easy. We want you to be able to do it online. We have little envelopes so that you can write your names on them so you get credit for your taxes. We have ways you can set up automatic payment. So take advantage of those ways to support the kind of beauty that we had here this morning. So hold those offerings in your hands, or with the hand of the loved one next to you, or hold it to your heart and repeat after me. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God. And it is true.
wants to tell me, God wants to tell me if it's got love, if it's got peace, that's the only way that I can believe it. If it leads me to the light, if it's got joy, if it's got truth, something that's gonna take a little faith to do, to make the pieces fit. God is in it. God is in it. Hey, yeah, yeah. God is in it. What I'm hearing sounds convincing. It's hard to decipher if what I hear is real. I am learning to be discerning. Is this conversation something God revealed? We need to define if it's something divine. If it's got love, if it's got peace, that's the only way that I can believe it. If it leads me to the light, if it's got joy, if it's got truth, something that's gonna take a little faith to do, to make the pieces fit. God is in it. Whatever's lovely, whatever's pure, whatever's formed in love will endure. You'll know it's right. You'll see the signs. If it's got love, if it's got peace, that's the only way that I can believe it. If it leads me to the light, oh, if it's got joy, if it's got truth, something that's gonna take a little faith to do, to make the pieces fit. Oh, if it's got love, if it's got peace, that's the only way that I can believe it. If it leads me to the light, if it's got joy, if it's got truth, something that's gonna take a little faith to do, to make the pieces fit. God is in it. God is in it. Hey, yeah, yeah. God is in it. God is in it. God is in it. Hey, yeah, yeah.
We have some special guests here. Here we go. This is Reverend Oh! What happens? You know what happens when we say that on the platform.
She knows that's in my future. Greetings. You know that I've before I became your operations and your finance manager, my heart has been with YOU. And I am here to actually have you join us in blessing Michael Lawson, Cameron Lawson, and Angie Buse as they leave tonight to go to Unity Village. Aiden has been there since the 6th, as he is part of the International Indie, and he has been planning their week that they'll be having there. And in particular, please hold a beautiful energy around Ellie. She has never flown before, and she's terrified, and she is actually saying she doesn't even want to see the airport. So our goal is to see her on the plane this evening. So I'm going to have Louise join us in blessing them.
Let's do our SLC blessing. Let's rub our hands together and send them, this beautiful team, our blessing. And we say, we love you, we appreciate you, and we behold God's love as you. And safe and fun journeys. And now let's bless the love offering with that same enthusiasm. So we know that this money is an energy, and it's the energy the same as our love and our enthusiasm and our joy, and we sure have that in abundance. So we know that this money goes out to do good works. It supports this ministry in offering programs like the Badass 101, and we see what transformation Becca has had. We see Celia, and we can't wait to share it with you. So thank you for your support of this ministry, and let's now sing.
With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in this eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it
And let's recite together. The light of God surrounds us. I am